In this video, we're going to be taking a look at equations like these. We call these equations with x on both sides because if we look to both sides of the equal sign, there are x's on the left and there are x's on the right. In this case, there are 8 to the left and 2 on the right. Now, I'm not going to go into loads of detail about how to solve these and lay them out in your book because I think Mr. Hegarty does a very good job at that. And you can look up Hegarty clip numbers 184 and 185. Here is 184. And he can guide you through and you can copy down his examples as to how to lay them out in your book. What I'm going to do instead is give you another way of thinking about these equations so you might better understand what they mean and not just be scared by all these symbols. Then once you've got that image in your brain of what they actually mean, you might be able to have a better go at laying these out in your book. Okay, let's get started with that. I'd like you to take a look at my setup here. And before I explain it, I'd like you to try and figure it out for yourself. Just take a look. Okay, hopefully that's not too hard to figure out what's going on. I've got 2 5s on this side of the equal sign, and these are equal to, let's count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10. All this little equation here is saying is that 2 times 5 equals 10. Easy peasy, easy peasy. Okay, but now I'm going to do something. I'm going to turn these cards over. Now obviously me and you still know that they're 5, but we can't see them anymore. I'm going to write down what this picture means to me now. We have 2 things that we can't see and they're still equal to 10. That looks very much like an equation to me. This equation means what's going on here. We have 2 numbers, 2 times a number equals 10. And we knew from before that that means that each of those is 5. I'm going to give you another one of these now, but with the cards already turned over. Okay. Here we go, here we go, here we go. I have 4 cards for you here, and they equal 12. Just count those for me and check that there's 12. I think there are. There we go. And I've written down the equation for you here as well. Now just take a moment to figure out, see if you can figure out what number is going to be on each of these cards when I flip them over. Again, that one shouldn't be too hard. 4 lots of a number is 12. Well, 4 lots of 3 is 12. 4 lots of 3. So each card should have a 3 on it. Let's check. Great, each card has a 3. We don't actually need all of those now. Why don't we just get rid of those? And each card is 3. That's great. Okay, next one. This is going to step up. We're going to get a little bit harder here. For this one, I'm going to put 3 cards on this side plus 2 counters. And on this side, I'm going to put 14 counters. There we go. Now before I show you the equation that I've written down, maybe you could do both this time. You have a look at that picture, write down some algebra that describes that picture, just like we did before with x's in it, and then see if you can figure out what x is. Give that a go. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at that. If you haven't, then maybe you can quickly pause it, because I'm going to show you what I've written down. You should have written down 3x add 2 equals 14. Okay, because we've got 3 things that we don't know, plus 2, and then 14 counters over here. Okay, now let's have a go at solving that. The way Mr. Hegarty says to do it, we see this plus 2, and we take it away. We do the opposite. How do we get rid of plus 2? We take away 2. But if I'm taking away 2 counters from this side, and I still want these bubbles to be equal, I'm going to need to take them away at exactly the same time, else they won't be equal anymore. Like that. There was 2, and we've taken away both at the same time, so that they stay equal. We can still write the equals sign. Let's see what we've got now. We've still got the 3 x's, and there are 12 left on this side. And suddenly, it's as easy as that one before. We have 3 lots of a thing is 12. Let's group that together. 3 lots of a thing is 12. 3 lots of 4 is 12. There's no point in having all of these at the same time. Let's get rid of the top 2. Let's save it. Let's see if it's right. X is 4. Great. And I write down my answer and I underline it. X equals 4. Brill. You might have noticed so far that we're not yet onto having X's on both sides. I've not yet put cards on both sides. So that is what's coming up next. For this one, this is going to be quite a squeeze here. Give me a sec so I don't show you the answers. Here we go. So I have, let's see what we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4 x's plus 3 counters is the same as 2 x's plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. As before, I'd like you to see if you can write that picture down using algebra and then try and have a go at figuring out what's on each card again. I'm going to tell you to pause the video this time so that you can have a proper good go at that. Make sure you write things down. Okay. Pause. And play again. Okay. Let's give this a go together now. What you should have written down to start with was 4x add 3 is the same as 2x add 16. I think it becomes quite obvious when we've got the picture there what this means. 4 things that we don't know, add 3 is 2x add 16. Okay, cool. But now we're going to solve this a little differently. Now that we've got cards on both sides, we need to simplify it a bit first. But as before, as long as we do the same thing to both sides at the same time, the 2 sides are going to stay exactly the same. So, what I'm going to do is take these 2 cards and these 2 cards and lift them off at exactly the same time. I've got to make sure to do it exactly the same time so it still equals, that equals sign is still there. Okay, bang, there we go. Now because I've done that to both sides, these things are still equal. Let's write down what we've done there and what we've got. We took away 2x from both sides and we're left with still 2x's over here plus 3, and on this side we've got no more x's anymore and we've just got 16. Great. And as you can see, this has become the simpler one again. It's become the last one that we did. 2x add 3 equals 16. As long as I do the same to both sides, that's fine. I'm going to take 3 off both sides at the same time. Boom. Okay. So we minus 3. And we get 2x equals, ooh, 13. That's a bit gross, isn't it? Now this is one that Mr. Hegarty does in his first video. And this one will require a bit of magic as well. Okay. Because how are we going to group these into exactly 2 piles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's an odd number, so we can't group it exactly. So, with a bit of trickery, maybe shut your eyes for this bit. There we go. That's useful, isn't it? Now let's split this up. I've got it in exactly 2 piles. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. We should have that each one of these cards is 6 and a half. Let's see. Yeah, great. 6.5. That's the same as 6.5. It is. So don't be put off if you have a decimal or a fraction in your answer, because that's perfectly valid. These equations can have decimals or fractions as answers. Okay. Now where are we going to go from there? There's another thing that I need to do. Now this time I'm going to show you the equation first and see if you can come up with a picture for it. This one's quite hard, so if you don't get it, don't worry, just go back and look at the other one. Okay. I want to do this equation using a picture now. See if you can spot what's slightly different about this equation, not just the numbers, but what's different about it. That's right, it's got a minus in. Now when I do this with pictures, with these cards and these counters, on the right hand side we've got exactly the same. But on the left hand side, these blue ones are going to be my negative numbers now. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards on that side. Okay. Before I dive into it myself, see if you can have a go at solving that one. Maybe pause the video again. Pause. And play. Alright, let's see how we're going to deal with these negatives. The key thing here is opposites. And think, how do we get rid of a negative 3? Well, the opposite of take away is add. So on paper, it's going to look like this. We get rid of that minus 3 by adding 3, and we're left with 5x is 2x, add 6. Great. On here we're going to do that. Every time I add one on, it's going to cancel out with that negative. Okay, let's do that a couple more times. There we go. And great. Now we've got what I've written down. Let's carry on from there. This is like the one before now. We've got x's on both sides. I'm going to look for the smallest one. Okay, we've got 2. Let's take away 2 x's from both sides. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Minus 2x. Minus 2x. And we're left with 3x equals 6. The answer might spring to mind straight away. We've got 3, lots of a thing is 6. What's each thing? 2. Great. Each thing is 2. X equals 2. Let's just get rid of those. And we've just got x equals 2. X equals 2. Well done if you got x equals 2. and well done if you followed on with all of that video. Feel free to go back to the beginning and just watch it again and make sure you're writing things down at the same time. Do the maths yourself at the same time. Try to go back to those questions now and give them a go yourself, perhaps still with Mr. Hegarty helping out. Good luck.